Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. So that's going to be AEW Rampage and WWE SmackDown. Weirdly, Rampage came first this week because it was potentially preempted by the NBA, but then that it didn't finish, but it's in the finals now, so I didn't know why it didn't just go back to its rightful place. I don't know. Overall, it was a fun show. So let's get it started. And we start off with Penta El Zero Miedo taking on Konosuke Takeshita in a spot for the Forbidden Door ladder match for the TNT title. And this was a great match. This was really quick opener, really good stuff going back and forth. Takeshita with a big old blue thunder bomb, only getting a 2 count. Eventually getting the power drive knee to pick up the victory and secure his place in that ladder match. Honestly, the pacing of this match was really good. Both guys worked really, really well together. That's great. And then we have a Chris Jericho interview, because of course we do. Pretty much saying, look, last week, that was my last week on Rampage for me on commentary, as I was I was attacked unprovoked by Hook. So, while I was valuable at that position, I will not be sticking to Dynamite and Collision. So, alright, I'm definitely going to miss Jericho on commentary for Rampage, but it's time for someone else to step up. We then get a promo from the Kingdom, saying how much Double or Nothing sucked for them, and they're down at the luck. Their tragedy has been, Roderick Strong defended his title on his own. But Wednesday, he was supposed to be in the gauntlet. But his number didn't get called because of Will Ospreay. So, tomorrow night, I'm going to be taking on Lio Rush. So, didn't get to see that match because I was watching the Ranger game. But, apparently that was a really good match. And then we get this weird little match as it's Satnam Singh going one-on-one with Peter Avalon, and it's over with a bear hug. And don't get me wrong, I like a good squash match as much as the next guy. I don't understand this one. Are we finally going to be doing something with Satnam Singh? Is he going to be in the ladder match? What's the deal? I don't know. This was weird. Then we get a promo from the Cage of Agony. That's Brian Cage, Toa Liona. Different guy. Bishop Khan and... No, it is Toa Liona. No, I didn't make a mistake. Alright, so, pretty much they're looking to burn AEW to the ground. And we're going to not leave any man untested. And then any team can come down, bring the fire, and get to know our newest member, Cesaro. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Of CMLL. And he brings in We Are the Pain. Ooh. That combination sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what this combination does in the future. Next up, we've got what I thought was going to be a squash match. Turned out to be a really, really good matchup as Timeless Toni Storm takes on Viva Vane. I have definitely seen Viva Vane a couple of times on AEW, and she has kicked butt. And she really brings it to Toni Storm in this match. But eventually, Toni Storm wins with the Storm Zero. And honestly, that was a really, really good matchup. It's one, I'm going to say this, I'm going to recommend. So then we get a backstage promo from Harley Cameron and Saraya applauding Mariah May on beating Harley Cameron the week before. Actually, no, that match didn't happen yet. That's the thing. It was supposed to happen on Dynamite, but then it got moved for Sky Blue and Mercedes Moné, which is not something I really need to see. With Saraya saying, yeah, I beat the real version of Toni Storm for the title. She won the title at All In, which I completely forgot about that. Then they finish off, it's not gonna be May. Which, nice little joke. I love stuff like that. Harley Cameron is growing on me. Like, originally she was just the annoying sidekick to QT Marshall. She's stepping into her own a little bit more. I like it. Next up, we get Kyle O'Reilly versus Jordan Cruz. A match that I thought would go a little longer, but ultimately it was what it was. Kyle O'Reilly getting a win with the big old armbar. And yeah, like I said, don't mind a little squash match. It was definitely more competitive than I'm letting it on, but it was definitely a extended squash match. We then go backstage to Johnny TV, the former John Morrison, and Taya Valkyrie. They have a promo. Johnny talking about him wanting to wrestle the best. So now he wants Claudio Castagnoli. What? Alright, I'm pretty sure they've had matches in the WWE before. That could be a really good one, honestly. And then we get to our main event for Rampage, as it's Rey Fenix taking on Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party. And this was pretty much the definition of good lucha things. Like, I love Rey Fenix. I'm glad he's back and healthy. And he hasn't slowed down a minute. Like, this was absolutely nutso. It was just like bam, 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 bam. A lot of really good back and forth. Isaiah trying for the silly string off the ref, but Rey Fenix ends up blocking it. Hits a frog splash only to get a tube, and then hits like the best way I can describe it is Frankie Kazarian's flux capacitor, but instead of going from the top rope, he stays in the ring to pick up the win. Yeah, I need a name for that move really, really quickly if we're going to have Rey Fenix win matches like that. Overall, a very heads or tails version of Rampage. A lot of good wrestling, but also a lot of just weirdness. Like a lot of needless squash matches. And like I said, I like squash matches as much as the next guy. But I think we need something else to fill Rampage's time. And obviously some significant things, too. Anyway, that's AEW Rampage. We now finish up with WWE SmackDown. We start off watching people arrive, including The Bloodline, which, honestly, if I'm WWE, I think I changed this group's name. Like, not saying they're Bloodline, but they need to be something else. Because when the OG Bloodline get back together, I think that's going to be a bigger moment. Then we see Ford, Dawkins, and B-Fab of the Pride arriving to the arena. No Bobby Lashley because he's hurt. Feel better soon, Mr. Lashley. Miss ya. Then we get highlights of King and Queen of the Ring. A very entertaining show. And then we go to the coronation of Queen Nia Jax. So she comes out. GM Nick Aldis puts the crown on her head. And now she cuts a promo. And she tells the crowd, let's get some facts straight. Fact, I'm Queen of the Ring. Fact, as Queen, I get a title shot at SummerSlam. And Bayley, I want you out here to face me. So, Bayley's music hits. She comes out. She gets a little bit more than halfway down the ramp. Then out comes Piper Niven and Chelsea Green to attack her from behind. They roll her in the ring. Niven with a big old headbutt and a crossbody. Then Chelsea Green gets on the mic, says, Nia, you don't have to sweat Bayley anymore. Because the new champ is going to be Piper Niven. So apparently she's getting a title shot soon. So then Nia gets back on the microphone saying, I don't care who the champion is. I'm going to annihilate her regardless. Ooh. I don't care what anyone says. Nia Jax has improved so much since she's gotten back. It's been great. And her as King of the Ring works because of moments like this. And honestly, I wouldn't mind her seeing her as champion. I mean, would I love it over Bayley? No. But Nia Jax champion? I wouldn't hate it. Anyway, we go backstage. We see Nick Aldis. He's walking backstage. QR code pops up. If you don't know the story behind this, there's been QR codes popping up with clues to another return. Kind of like what they did with Bray Wyatt before his untimely death. Now it seems like it's going to be his brother, Bo Dallas, and a group of his own. Not 100% sure who's in this group, but we'll see. Anyway, he goes into this weird little, waiting room area. That's the best I can describe it, because it's not his office, obviously. And in one of the chairs, he sees AJ Styles. AJ then gets up, they shake hands. AJ then says, I thought about what you said last week. I'd like to address my future tonight. Then Aldis replies, is there something you want to tell me? And AJ kind of looks distraught, kind of looks down at his feet for a second, then he looks back up, says, it's hard enough doing this once. I'm going to do it out there with my people. Aldis then says, you got your time. So, apparently they've been hinting at AJ Styles' retirement. WWE did do this once before with another superstar. I'll explain it a little later after the segment. We'll get there. Anyway, so then we're seeing Bayley. She's getting checked on by the doctor after the attack. Naomi comes in. She's panicked. She's like, oh, are you okay, man? You obviously... Why didn't you come get me? Then Bayley's like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. Really. So then Naomi asks, are you good enough to fight? Then Bayley says, yeah, let me go get changed. Let me get ready to go. So, looks like we're getting a tag team match, playa. A little later. Shout out to Teddy Long. Anyway, our first matchup of the evening. Yeah, it took that long to get to our first match, as it's Tommaso Ciampa taking on Austin Theory. And I'm going to say this was Austin Theory's best match to date. Not to say he's had any bad matches, but this felt more inspired, more character driven. And yeah, there was definitely a lot of really good back and forth. Theory tries for the A-Town Down Under. That gets blocked by Ciampa with a couple of big boots. And we see, looks like Austin Theory has Ciampa right where he wants him. Then you see Grayson Waller on the sidelines pointing, saying, I made this guy relevant again. I'm tag me in with his revival of his career. Then Theory, I guess, hears this, turns to him and says, like, what the heck, man? Waller gets up on the apron. They're jawing for a little bit. And then Ciampa kind of pushes Theory into Waller, hits the roll-up to pick up the victory. So it does look like we are getting twofold. DIY new tag team champions, which, fingers crossed. And then A-Town Down Under breaking up, which, I'm going to say this, I am not 100% behind yet. Maybe a little bit later down the line, but I guess I'd be cool with that. Anyway, we see Nick Aldis in his office with someone who I did eventually identify as Blair Davenport, which, finally great to see her making her debut. When Naomi wants in, telling Nick Aldis, I want a match against Green and Neville. And Nick Aldis says, yeah, you got it. Then Blair Davenport chimes in and she's like, oh, I don't think we've met. I'm Blair Davenport and I'm ready to go. She walks off. Aldis gives Naomi the match. Then LA Knight, walks in. Asks about AJ Styles retiring. Aldis pretty much says, look, I don't know what's going on with him, but we can talk about it. Then he asks, do you know where Logan Paul is? They eventually sit down at Nick Aldis' desk and they talk some stuff out. We then get a nice little recap of Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul, in which definitely a fun match. I'm not going to say I'm hating Logan Paul less, but I am appreciating the work he's putting in. Anyway, so we see LA Knight leaving Nick Aldis' office. He then runs right into the interviewer. He pretty much says, oh, were we talking about something? Right now there isn't much to tell you because Logan Paul isn't here, but I am. And I know you're not getting the answer you guys want. I get it. But Logan Paul, I want the US title. And next time, we're going to talk about it. Yeah. Then in comes Carmelo Hayes. Been a while since I've seen him. Saying to LA Knight, you do so much talking. How about a couple weeks, I face you when I'm here. And next time he leaves, you on red. Talk the talk. When you talk the talk, you're the guy. But if he wants to walk the walk, I am him. So, nice little promo from Carmelo Hayes. I hope to see him wrestle again, because he is too good to just be in the back. Speaking of too good to be in the back, we get the SmackDown return of Apollo Crews. This dude has been on the sideline for too long as he takes on Andrade in what was a super good match. And then out comes Angel Garza, who has been trying to recruit Andrade to Legado del Fantasma, even though they were opponents at WrestleMania. Anyway, So match goes on. Apollo Crews with a beautiful military press slam into the moonsault. Looks like he has Andrade right where he wants him. Then Garza gets up on the apron. Crews then runs him off the apron. Big old back elbow from Andrade right into the neck breaker for the victory for Andrade. This brings out the rest of Legado del Fantasma. Andrade sees them. They're all clapping for him on the top of the ramp. He goes up to the top of the ramp, clears the way, walks to the back with Santos Escobar just kind of glaring at Angel Garza. Garza then follows Andrade the back. I'm going to say this. This is an interesting little situation. I'm going to be interested to see where this goes, because maybe Andrade gets his own crew together. Anyway, next up, we see the Bloodline backstage. You see Solo hyping up Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, telling him, do you understand me? You do as I say. Then Paul Heyman walks in saying, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I've served Roman Reigns the best when I'm at the front. I can serve you way better now. All I see from the Bloodline now is just lots of violence, but very little strategy. And I see you recruiting nothing but violent men into the Bloodline. And when Roman comes back, we need to have Cody in check. Solo replies, we have Cody in check, he just doesn't know it yet. So then Kevin Owens' music hits. He's heading down to the arena. Then Solo tells Paul Heyman, go handle that. So, we'll see what happens with this new edition of the Bloodline. Next we see Andrade. He's in the locker room. He's getting to change. Angel Garza comes in. He's kind of spatting with Andrade for a little bit. Then out of nowhere, Apollo Crews comes in and just starts whooping on Garza. Officials pull him off. And, it looks like we are getting Garza versus Apollo Crews, which sounds like an awesome match to me. Anyway, we go back down to the ring for a Kevin Owens promo, saying, last week I came back to SmackDown to make sure I had Orton's back, as Orton has had mine for the past couple months, and make sure the Bloodline didn't ruin Randy's chances. Obviously, Randy did not win King of the Ring, and he is not here, but the Bloodline is, and I made sure to be here too. Then out comes Paul Heyman. And he pretty much says, look, in this capacity, I come out to talk to you because we have a mutual interest. And KO was like, stop rambling and get to the point. Heyman continues, there's not one person Roman Reigns and the Bloodline respects more than you. And if you keep calling Solo's name, Solo has zero respect for you. And before we recruited new members to the Bloodline, we did background checks. People you're picking fights with, they're looking for excuses to take you out. So if you're going to keep calling out Solo, they're going to do something bad about it. I'm begging you to back off the Bloodline. Please. So then KO retorts, are you really trying to help me? After everything you've done to me, you and the Bloodline have done to me, why would I trust what you say? I'm not falling to this act. I'm the next man up. I'm not sure what this act is. I've fought the Bloodline for 4 years and I'm still standing. Then Paul Heyman retorts, that was the Bloodline. Guys I respect. Now it's just Solo and 2 guys, and I'm going to keep fighting them, and I don't need your help. Heyman replies, I'm not trying to help you. I'm trying to help you escape. And you think that one man can't be redeemed? Why not Paul? Understand what you're up against. Why won't anyone listen to me? Then Owens starts backing up Paul Heyman as the Bloodline music hits. Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa, they have a little stare down. Looks like they're about to beat down on Kevin Owens. When Owens just kind of looks right behind him, out come the Street Profits, evening the odds. They brawl. Owens and Solo brawl to the back. And then we get our main event match of the evening as the Bloodline, aka the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, take on the Street Profits. And I'm going to say this. When in the heck did anyone have this on their bingo cards? Because I did not see this coming. This is great. The match itself was definitely better than I expected. Especially with the not so great strikes that came out from Tonga Loa. But it definitely looks like they're settling in their WWE roles. And had a solid little matchup with the Street Profits, finishing with a flatliner move. I don't know what they call this move from Tama Tonga to pick up the win for the Bloodline. So, yeah, nice little matchup. Kind of a dream match if you really think about it. Like, I know everyone is excited for Gorillas of Destiny versus the Usos. This is definitely not a match to be slept on. Anyway, we go backstage for Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. They run into Indy Hartwell, who is arguing, oh, you're going to go to Raw to do what you did to Candice LeRae. Bianca then chimes in, oh, she started it. No, Jade chimes in. She started that. I finished it. I could put you right next to Candice if you want. And then Indy just backs off. Next up, we have a Mia Yim interview saying that, AJ Styles hasn't been speaking to the OC lately. And we're not really in touch. But if this is AJ's last thing, then before she can finish, Nia Jax interrupts. And she pretty much says, oh, why are you speaking to this peasant when the queen is right here? Then Mia pretty much said, who the heck was speaking to you? Then they have a little stare down. Then Nia pretty much says, you're going to regret that. And walks off. Oh no, this is our main event match. As it's Bayley and Naomi taking on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And this match absolutely ruled. Everyone worked really, really well together. Especially Chelsea Green being the, eating heel. Niven being the powerhouse really works in this match. Including a double crossbody to both Bayley and Naomi. Ooh. Bayley and Naomi start to fight back. After a couple moves to the outside, Bayley and Niven start brawling. Chelsea Green goes for an unprettier. That gets blocked. Naomi into the rear view, into the cover. 1, 2. Piper Niven breaks it up with a senton. Niven puts Green on Naomi to pick up the victory. A very sneaky win by potential challengers. I think we see Piper Niven challenge Bayley at Clash at the Castle. I think that could be a fun little matchup. And then we get our final segment. It starts backstage. You see AJ Styles. He's got his big blue sports jacket on. He's walking to the ring. Runs into LA Knight, who says, "The rumors are true. Nothing but respect." So they kind of have a little nod. AJ Styles walks a little further. Runs into Cody Rhodes. They shake hands. And then AJ goes to whisper something to Cody. We'll get to that one a little later. Then he runs into the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. They embrace. AJ Styles, "Why don't you come out here and help me?" So we got AJ Styles and the Good Brothers coming out to the ring for this promo. So AJ Styles gets on the microphone and pretty much says, "I tell you, I've been thinking a lot on what all this said. I wanted another opportunity of a world title, but according to all this, I'd have to go to the back of the line. I've thought really hard about this. I can't do this at this point in time. I've been doing this for over 2 decades, which is insane to think about. How long AJ Styles has been in wrestling. So much blood, sweat, and tears all over the wrestling world, so I can become phenomenal. And this past weekend, my son graduated high school, and I got to be there. We had a nice little party with all our friends and relatives, and at that point, clarity hit me. How many of these have I missed? So, instead of being phenomenal here, I'm going to stay at home and be a phenomenal father. Anderson, Gallows, all this couldn't have been done without you. I love you guys. You are more than my friends. You are my brothers. We're going to do this finale. We're going to do this right." They, of course, hit the Too Sweet, which is always great to see. And then they embrace. Then Gallows and Anderson leave the ring. And then AJ Styles like, "Before I go, Cody, I told you that once I summon you out here, you can come out. And I want to look you in the eyes, tell you, now's the time." So this brings out Cody Rhodes. He doesn't have his title with him. But then AJ Styles continues. "I wanted to look you in the eyes and tell you we had a hell of a match at King and Queen of the Ring. No, not King and Queen of the Ring, at the one previous, at Backlash. And if that's my last match, I can't think of a better way to go out. And while this SmackDown is still the house that AJ Styles built, I called you out here to hand you the keys." Then Cody Rhodes chimes in saying, "We've only ever exchanged one text message in our career. I texted you after our match at Backlash. I wanted to know if you were okay." And AJ replied, "I'm all good, little bro." And I just want to say thank you, AJ Styles. So they embrace. Cody raises AJ Styles' arms to every pretty much corner of the arena. Once they were on the hard cam side, big old clothesline by AJ Styles. And the beatdown commences. And then we see officials trying to get down there, but the Good Brothers are keeping the officials from helping. And then we see the big move. The 8 Styles Clash off of the ring steps. Oh. While their match at Backlash was really good, there wasn't much behind it. This added some stakes, brother. Like, holy cow, I can't wait for this rematch. And now to explain why this feels so familiar. So back in, when the heck was it? I want to say it was 2016, 2017. Mark Henry pulled something similar, but instead of wearing a blue jacket, he wore a salmon jacket. And I'm almost certain this was beat for beat that same segment, but instead of Cody Rhodes, it was John Cena. And that one was super memorable and pretty much put all of us wrestling fans on notice for when the next time this kind of swerve was coming. So I did see this coming, but this was still very, very entertaining. And I am definitely excited for a rematch. So that is my recap for both Rampage and SmackDown. I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, back to regularly scheduled programming this coming week. Next week, I may push up my recap for Raw, Power, and Dynamite up to Thursday, because Friday I'm going to see the doctor. Nothing major, just usual checkup. So, should be fine. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace. Oh, no.